Hi, I'm Dr. John Martin.
I'm Lori Beveridge, and we're California Elite Fitness.
Today our video is going to cover back pain in relationship to muscle weakness. If you have severe back pain, it's always best to see a physician first. So today we're going to cover two components that are important to getting stronger. One of them is stretching, one of them is strengthening. So we're going to show you 5 stretching exercises and 7 strengthening exercises. So stretching is important as well as strengthening, but we want to stretch and strengthen areas not only directly related to the low back, but also above and below that area, because areas above and below are all integrated in low back strength. We're going to start with stretching. So our first stretch is going to be a hip flexor stretch. So as you can see, Lori leans forward, the fulcrum is right here in the front of the hip. Now this hip flexor actually ties into the front of the spine. So it's really important to stretch those muscles in the front of the hip to allow release of tension on the front of that spine. So you can see that she's doing dynamic stretching. That's how we warm up. We're going to do stretching with movement. Our second one is going to be a glute stretch. The glutes tie directly into that low back. So again, a dynamic glute stretch, internally rotating that hip, getting that stretch in the glute. Our third one is going to be a hamstring stretch. Again, dynamic in nature. She's going to reach out. She's going to kind of scoop her arms back there, move forward, lift up, and you'll feel a great, powerful stretch in that hamstring. It's really important to stretch these hamstrings. They tie into the back of the pelvis. When they are tight, and this happens from a lot of sitting, they'll rotate that pelvis back and create tension and actually straighten the spine, creating more pressure on that lower body. Our third one is hip rotations.
Put your hands right by your hips.
Right? And she's going to do circular motion, and then she'll go in the opposite direction. Again, there's this circumduction that happens in the hips and the low back. We got to warm that up before we do any strengthening. And our last one is going to be spinal rotation. You can see she just twists that spine. This is directly working that spine.
Pivot that foot.
And strengthening those deep stabilizing muscles and stretching those muscles at the same time. So now into our strengthening routine. The first one is going to be a hip extension. So she's going to be on all fours. She's going to kick her leg back. She can keep her knees square. Again, do that again. Or she can kick it out straight. So she can create even more extension. Both variations are good. You can mix them up too. Our next one is what you call a cross crawl mechanism, where we're going to lift one arm and the opposite leg out straight. Again, now we're starting to work that upper body. She's getting extension in that low back, contraction of the glutes, but also twisting the spine slightly, because there's integration between that upper and lower part of the body. Our next one, she's going to be flat on her stomach. These are back extensions. Again, this is integrating upper and lower body. She's going to bring her elbows back, lift that chest, lift her thighs off the ground. So there's a great, powerful extension of that low back. There's contraction in the glutes, which are tied together, and a lot of back activity up here, again, with that integration of lower and upper body. Our next one, now, we've been working mainly on the back of the body, but the core and the back is all tied together. So the frontal part of the body, that front core, those abs, also have a contribute to back strength. So she's going to do what we call a double crunch. So she's going to crunch up with her upper body and lift those knees. Then she's going to let it all down. So lift the upper body and knees together, back and forth. Okay, again, we're getting the front core that stabilizes the low back. Okay, our next one, another anterior strengthening activity. She's going to sit up. No, actually, she's not going to sit up. She's going to lay down, okay? She is going to do a bicycle. Most people know a bicycle. Again, we're working the front of the body, but we're even getting those obliques now. So we're getting abs, oblique, and as she's moving side to side, she's rotating that spine, increasing strength in those deep, intrinsic, or stabilizing muscles of the spine. All right, don't wear yourself out there, coach. Okay, next one. This is a good static exercise. One of the best for the back. It gets all around the whole body because we're holding a static. She's in her plank position. So there's contraction in the abs in the front. There's contraction in those posterior muscles in the back, especially those deep muscles in the spine. And she's also strengthening the hamstrings and hip flexors. Again, we talked about earlier with our stretching. Those are important muscles, not only to stretch, but also to strengthen. And our last one, she's going to do a side plank. I'm going to show you 2 variations of this. One is called thread the needle. So she's going to get up in this side plank, and then she's going to rotate around and bring that hand under. So you can see the rotational movement she's getting in the hips and the spine. Now what she's going to do is she's not going to rotate, and she's just going to drop her hip down, a dynamic movement, getting lateral movement in with the strengthen the lateral parts of that spine. So those exercises will help you gain strength in that lower body and that core. And by doing these, this should alleviate a lot of basic back pain that people get from a sedentary lifestyle.
So do each exercise, the stretching and the strength, for 30 to 60 seconds. And you can repeat this a couple times. Do this. This will be very helpful. Thank you, Coach. If you like this video, please hit like. If you want to see more, please hit subscribe. And our website is californiaelite.fit. Thank you, and we hope to see you soon.